Coming up, read all about it. How the world's biggest newspaper delivers over 11 million copies every day. The technological triumph that is the modern sock. And Ribena, how 10,000 tons of British blackcurrants are turned into the famous fruity drink. How do they do it? News has never moved faster. The digital revolution means we're getting headlines streamed to our phones and computers 24/7. But in one country, the printed newspaper is still king. In high-tech Japan, 70% of the population still reads a physical newspaper every week. Tokyo's Yomiuri Shimbun has the largest newspaper circulation in the world. 11 million copies are distributed daily in morning and evening editions. 1 in 6 Japanese read the paper. 2,500 journalists and an army of distributors work around the clock to satisfy the cravings of a nation of news junkies. How do they do it? The Yomiuri Shimbun launched in 1874 as a local paper for Tokyo. It focused on popular tabloid-style stories. Today, the company has a turnover of 650 billion yen, nearly $5.5 billion. At 5 p.m., editors from all sections of the paper gather for the most important meeting of the day. Here, they thrash out what stories will be making headlines in tomorrow's morning edition.
はい、それでは29日付朝刊立ち会い始めます。東京当番の佐伯です。で、それに1号の
The paper's regional offices dial in via video link to feed in stories from outside the capital.
東京当番の佐伯です。大阪さん聞こえますか？はい、
よろしくお願いします。
Printing starts in just a few hours, so the editorial team has to make some big decisions about what 20 million people will read as they wake up. The biggest sports story of the night is being slugged out at the Tokyo Dome. Baseball's Yomiuri Giants are taking on a team from Hiroshima in a crunch clash. Sports reporter Mr. Hirokazu Hayashi and a photographer are assigned to the match. He needs to write at the speed of light to make his deadline.
今早番といって今日は締め切りが早い原稿のメイン原稿の担当なんですけど、今だから試合中に原稿を書かないといけないんですね。
The printing of the morning edition is approaching. Mr. Hayashi has to file a 45-line report as the game ends. The moment the report is filed, it comes here, to the editorial team at the paper's sports desk. They transfer his copy onto a digital page layout and select photos that bring the action to life. For an online publication, that would be job done. But this paper's millions of loyal subscribers don't want to read their news as a digital file. So for printing, the page layouts go to 30 state-of-the-art presses around Japan. Many of the papers for Tokyo readers come from this place, the Kita Printing Factory, 7 kilometers from Yomiuri HQ. At 20,000 square meters, it's almost the size of 2 baseball fields, and its 6 huge printing machines can turn out 1 million newspapers every day. Printing on that scale demands industrial quantities of paper, and keeping the printing machines fed is a mammoth task. Each paper roll weighs over 1,130 kilograms. To move them around, they have their own robot army. But don't worry, they're not about to take over. Factory manager Mr. Noboru Kobayashi keeps them in line.
今印刷していて、 それで紙が結局減っていくわけですよね。それで紙をペスターといってつないでずっと運転を続けるわけなんです。
These robots are called automated guided vehicles. They use ultrasonic sensors and floor markers to navigate. The smart heavy lifters even come with their own theme tunes.
それでカートが音楽を流してるんですけれども、あれは人が音楽を流してないと危険を予知できないので、それで音楽を流しているわけです。
The robots drive the giant rolls right into the printing machine. The next challenge is setting up the massive device to reproduce the digital page layouts on paper. Another, much smaller printer helps out with this bit. This one uses lasers to burn an image of the two-page layout onto 0.3mm thick aluminium sheets known as plates, which are then wrapped around the printing rollers by hand. Any mistakes at this stage could mean readers face a morning paper printed in the wrong colors, so Mr. Masaki Fujita checks every plate by eye. With the paper loaded and the plates on, these huge printers roll into action. The paper passes through at a head-spinning 46 kilometers per hour. As it travels over the printing towers, the ink stations apply 4 colors of newsprint to both sides of the paper. Each press churns out a whopping 85,000 copies every hour. But while the presses are printing, the clock is ticking, and readers expect their news in time for breakfast. The race is on. For speed, the newspapers are wrapped in bundles of 60 and loaded onto waiting delivery vans. The vans work through the night, delivering to more than 7,000 distribution stations across the country. There, an army of 63,000 delivery drivers waits to personally take the morning edition to subscribers. 35-year-old Hidenori Mori has been delivering the paper for 15 years.
今から配達行ってきます。お客さん待ってるんで。
He has just a few hours to deliver 300 newspapers. Mr. Mori and his fellow drivers make 8.5 million drops every night. It's dawn as he makes his last delivery, just in the nick of time.
新聞をきれいに届けることと、時間通りに届く。大雨の日も台風の日も大雪の日も時間通りに届けることが大変です。
This customer's heading straight to the sports section to read about yesterday's game. And Mr. Mori is straight to bed for a well-earned rest.